And welcome to this committed prospect interview. It's an exciting day. We have class of 2016 baseball prospect Bryan Nuñez joining us today. Bryan, I'm excited to see you. Welcome to your committed prospect interview.
Thank you, Jake. Very happy to see you again. It's been a lot of years. How many years now? Like six and a half years. So
too many years. But you signed with LPG. You're part of the class of 2016. You went to college on scholarship. You came from the Dominican. And, I think a lot of people are going to be really excited to see this interview, Bryan, because this is not going to be the last time. There's no way that we can fit everything into one interview, right? So let's go back to 2016, like we were talking about before our interview. You hear from me, I call you, and I say, hey, I think we can help you get a college scholarship. Take me back to Senapec High School in the Dominican when you hear when you hear from me, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I think we have a chance to help you go to college here in the States. Take me back to that phone call and what you were thinking.
Well, I remember during those days, I was looking for somebody to guide me because back then, finding a place in the U.S., it was for the kids that came from wealth. It wasn't for kids like me, like working parents that were just hustling to get us through it. And I remember trying to find somebody. And I remember a client of my mom connected me to a guy, and then that guy connected me to you, and then you call me. I remember I was in the Estadio Quisqueya where the Luce played, watching my brother, and then you call me and said, hey, we can help you. I'm like, oh, this guy is nice or whatever. And then I said, what is your fee? And then you told me your fee, and I remember how much was, and I'm like, oh no, this is too much for us. And then you were trying to work, and you just keep on calling me and telling me, oh, we can help you. And I didn't know how I can trust you. And it was just very, very exciting moments there.
Yeah, it is really exciting. So you're working with the Miami Marlins now, and it's come full circle. You're now in professional baseball, working in departments that allow you to work with in their sales department, and merchandising, and on the business side of baseball. But before we talk about that, I'm interested to know, when you were offered that scholarship, that full ride scholarship to go to El Paso, what was that moment like? Because we had worked together for a few months leading up to that. And then, like you said, you started getting phone calls, and all of a sudden it became apparent that you were going to be offered a scholarship. Take me back to that time where you started getting phone calls from college coaches.
And it wasn't just that place, because I remember we got offers for a bunch of schools. And I don't know if you remember this. We were sending paperwork to the NCAA. I remember you connected me with a couple of D1s, D2 schools. And then that didn't work out. We tried NAIA route. They also didn't accept me. And then we found out, okay, like NAIA wouldn't work for you to start, or NCAA because you started on the weekends. Then JUCO was the route. We found El Paso. It was just an amazing moment. I remember to this day.
Yeah, I remember it too. So I want to show you something. I'm actually going to share my screen with you. Who is this guy right here? This guy right here. You see this? You see this guy right here?
My teammates keep on playing that through college.
This is a great video right here. You look really good. You look really good. But what I liked about you is I liked this right here. I liked seeing you throw from the outfield. And even as a young prospect, you always were such a great athlete. And I think people underestimate how hard it is to get to the States, to get recruited. And, when I see this was you in high school. And so you're right. It did take a little bit of time, but I think that it was really interesting because I believed it from the beginning. And I think that your story kind of shows why you need someone in your corner to try to help you with this college recruiting process, because you're right. We talked with the NCAA, and obviously we're on such good terms with them because we help kids go to college. And they said, well, he only goes to school on the weekends. And people here in the United States, a lot of times they don't understand how that works. So talk to me about how, yes, your life was changed, but also like it was actually a lot more difficult than you might think to even get here to begin with.
Yeah. A lot of people, I feel like a lot of U.S. citizens underestimate, and residents as well, how hard it is for a non-citizen to come to the U.S. Because for us, you have the connections. I had what coaches wanted, which was the talent showed on video, the word that you put out for me. but we couldn't come because I needed a visa. I needed papers that showed that my education. I needed to translate all those papers, and also I needed to mail in all the documents to NCAA, NAIA, and we don't have a mailing system in the DR. Like I can call the school and tell them, could you mail this to NAIA Eligibility Center? So it's very difficult. You have to spend a lot on mailing, and also the education system is different.
But as they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Yeah. And you never gave up. You never gave up on your dream. And what happened is you found a way to come here. They paid for your school. You go to El Paso, then you go to Wayland Baptist and play for the great coach Todd Weldon. I love Coach Weldon. And then you went up to Scotland campus and became a college coach in Pennsylvania. And now, like I said, you're with the Marlins. So this journey has got to be quite interesting and quite amazing, quite frankly, for you, because of your baseball ability, but also because you trusted that guy that called you on the phone all those years ago. You're living an amazingly successful life here in the United States. So talk to me about the value of what it means to be a scholarship athlete.
Never underestimate anybody, because you never did. You trusted me. You trusted that I have a big future. And I don't know if you know this, but when I went to Scotland, I also got my master's. So it's my master rating right here from Chippensburg. I got my MBA in Chippensburg. Also being a student with a student visa. So I got it while being on a student visa. Now I'm a resident, but I got it when I was a student, also on a scholarship. But it meant the world to me, like all your help. You never give up on me. And that was very important, because you found me the scholarship as you promised, but it didn't work. We found another one. And you helped me go to El Paso. And then I reached out to you 1.5 years, and I told you, I need a 4-year school. And you kept in contact with Coach Wald, and you helped me go to that tryout that one day. And it meant the world, because I felt that I had somebody to guide me through the process, somebody that already been there. And it's just unbelievable how helpful you were. I really appreciate that. And when people ask me about my story, I always mention there is a gringo that helped me come here to the US.
The gringo, that's me. I love it. That's me. See, I still am, right? I still am. So, no, it means the world to me that you say that. But also, what's been cool is that we've been able to keep our relationship throughout all these years. Like we'll trade texts, and the baseball world is very small. And I've talked about this on college recruiting newsletters before, that karma is real in the college recruiting process and how you treat other people. And what I've always noticed with you and your family is your family, including your mom and you, have treated me with always with nothing but respeto, right? And that's why you're a part of the LPG family. But I want to kind of end with this point, and I don't know if you remember this, but your mom, whenever you signed your first scholarship, your mom sent an email, and she said that I was your angel on earth. And so to me, when I got to read that, it wasn't about the money. It was never really about the money. It was just about the fact that you were dedicated to doing whatever it took to come play here on scholarship, and you always treated people the right way. So your mom's email, whenever you signed, always sticks out to me, because in this case, I do feel a little bit like an angel on earth, being able to come and help you. And now I'm the one that gets the blessing, because I get to watch you grow from a high school kid at Senapet going to school on the weekends to a scholarship athlete, now working with the Miami Marlins, earning honors in every level of academics that you've been across, and being a guiding light for all the rest of the prospects out there, LPG and not LPG, that look to Bryan Nuñez and say, wow, that's such an inspiration. How does it feel to be in that position, knowing that so many people, are looking up to you right now?
Well, on my everyday basis, I don't think about it, but now that you mention it, my eyes started getting like a little water, because I remember those days, like wanting to come to the US so bad, because I wanted to keep playing baseball. I wanted to keep studying, but in the Dominican Republic wasn't my place. I couldn't keep doing it, and I remember like the day that we found the school. So it was great moments, and I've been, and like, I don't know, like it means a lot. Like for me and my family, like it's been a great journey.
Well, I definitely appreciate it, and the journey is still continuing. All right, yeah. You still look just as good as your boy, if not maybe a little bit better in that collared shirt. So I'm glad to see that you're dressing up, looking nice. All right. That's always good. You know, it's interesting how many prospects over the years that we've worked with at LPG that I've actually never met in person. You know, we've met in person. I came out and saw you at El Paso, and we got some swings in.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
we got some swings in. I remember. And it was cool, right? Because you realize, right? You're like, oh, guy can swing it a little bit.
Told me something I will never forget. Hit the ball in the air. Like you hit it in the air, it will be successful. I remember. I tell that to my brother. You remember you told me, this is the L screen. Hit it on top of it, in the air. Don't hit line drives, hit it in the air.
And you know what's interesting about that is now that I will talk to you about hitting for a second. You were 6'4", 200 pounds coming out of high school.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, hitting the ball in the air. Obviously, like for me, when I was younger, that wouldn't have been ideal because I was never 6'4". I'm still waiting to, you know, become 6'4", but that was never my game. And even in the pro game now, you know, what you're realizing is guys are throwing with a lot of velo, and the best players in the world are standing on the ground on defense. So if you hit the ball on the ground a lot, there's going to be a lot of plays made by those defenders. And so for me, whenever we hit together, it wasn't, you know, trying to necessarily have you to create lift. It was just more for you to get you in that mindset of, even in the cage, we want to be practicing the right things. Is that kind of what you got out of that session too?
Yeah. You told me you want to square the ball up, but you want to hit it on an angle where if you hit it well, it's going to be a double or a homer because you have the power. I remember that, and it really helped me a lot. And you also taught me always think fastball so you're ahead. Don't think about it much, because I was the type of hitter that liked to think a lot. So I remember that.
Well, it's important because it just shows like how mental the game really is. And so when when you're in a situation, I only had a certain amount of time with you, you know, when we do our digital coaching or coaching that I do in person or just, you know, in general for LPG, you know, I have to get you to understand one or two things that you can build on with your career. And what I noticed is when you were hitting all those home runs and doubles, I noticed that your angle continued to stay good because even though you were getting breaking balls and changeups and off speed, right, because you are the size that you are, right, what ended up happening is, you know, and I had to learn this as a hitter, and I'm still learning it as a hitter, by you thinking hit the ball in the air, hit a line drive in the air, it keeps your eyes back, keeps you back and keeps you behind pitches that are off speed pitches, but you're also on time for the fastball. Most of these hitters that are in the big leagues, their eyes are not really traveling forward unless they're fooled on a pitch. They have to keep their eyes still, right? And even though their eyes are going to move a little bit, you want to make sure that those eyes aren't traveling forward. And so I remember with you, it is about creating that angle. But a lot of times what I was trying to do is get you to understand that by creating that angle, you're going to be less likely to swing at pitches out of the zone, and you're going to be more likely to stay behind off-speed pitches and generate good angles. So that way, when you get a fastball or when you get a breaking ball that's in the zone, all you have to do is take your natural swing, and the ball will either be a double off the wall or it's going to go out of the ballpark. So that's really interesting that you still think. Do you think that the same still holds true in today's game?
Sure. It is because sometimes as a hitter, you get a line drive and then you think, man, like if my approach was different, I have the power to hit that ball out of the park, and that's a big difference of a game. So
Exactly. Well, Bryan, I definitely appreciate you joining our Committed Prospect interview. I think you're an inspiration. I think your story is inspirational. Can we do this again? I always ask all my committed prospects, can we do another interview in the future?
Sure. And I will tell the guys that working with you that I had a really great experience, and then you treat me very well, and I had a lot of confidence on you, and you helped me through the whole process. So tell the guys to keep working hard and to keep trusting in the process. I know it was hard for me, but I put on my part and you did yours, and it was great. So really grateful from you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it was worth it, and I definitely appreciate you joining today's interview. And of course, if you ever need anything, I always tell my prospects, especially my committed prospects, I'm always in your pocket. So please tell your family that I said hello, and thanks for joining me today on this committed prospect interview. Te quiero, amigo.
Was I the first class?
2016 was our third class. 2014, 15, and 16. Yep. So you're the lucky number 3 class. Yes. But it's okay. You were actually our first international prospect, believe it or not. Congratulations.
Okay.
Our first international prospect. It will always and forever be Bryan Nuñez Feliz.
You can go back and change it.
Can't go back and change it. All right, my friend. Te quiero, amigo. Adios. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yeah, your time.